Okay, what do you guys think? Music or no music? Let's see. All right, let's go up here. You know, Bible studies are kind of always... Let's go here. What do you think? Number 2? 2? Gets a little bit of funk. I could do that. Boom. I know, a little chipper for me. I mean, I'm not sure I like them. Here we go. All right, we're going to talk about the divine law. I know you're like, shit. The divine law. Give me law, baby. Boom. That's what I wanted, but you gave me some law. Holla. So basically, long story short, you know, God who is love created us in Eden, and we wanted law. We wanted control, nigga. We like, all right, bitch. We don't like the mysteries. We don't like the uncertainties. We want it guaranteed. Give me some law, nigga. Boy. Take my badge, but my heart remains loving you. And then God's like, I dog. Yeah, you want some law? Boom, boom. And then shit goes down, dude, because we just want more law. Boom, 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 boom. And then we're like, all right, and so now we got the Sanhedrin, we got the Pharisees fuckers, we got the people who like Ferguson, Gardner. Oh my goodness, is he talking about Ferguson? I thought the cops were good. Oh my goodness, everything. He's probably not even, is he anarchist? He doesn't like, no. I don't like corruption. So we started good, man. We started with the law. And the guy's like, all right, dude, here's some love. And we didn't like that. So we're like, all right, guys, can you give us some regulations? Because we like law. And so there's kind of been this war, this battle between, well, it's just, you know, you can see even in like a, you know, I talk about fractals. What the fuck is a fractal? Well, it's like, you know, what we're doing spiritually is what we're doing earthly. You know, so, you know, we wanted regulations. We started with, you know, love. We just started with love. We were started simple. We were made in the image of God. God is love. And he breathed us into nature, into a garden. And then, you know, some deception happened. You know, you get a girl involved. And, you know, I mean, that's the story, dude. You got perfection, and then you got a you know, beautiful woman, naked woman, and you have deception. And the deception comes in through Eve, you know, because what do they say? Guys are crazy, or girls are crazy, guys are dumb. You know, all this hashtag MRA shit. You know, you know, there's this huge need for, like, you know, anything where a woman can cry a victim cry, man. It's just, you know, I even saw yesterday where Brene Brown is, you know, she's trying to get on that, you know, there's a rape culture. You know, the rape culture is modern day Mccarthyism, where you just literally just have to, like, point a finger, you know, point a finger of scorn, and everybody's a rapist, every guy's a predator. You know, I'm like, no, guys are dudes, man. We're dudes, and that doesn't mean that that's a bad thing, you know. But in the rape culture, everything you do or say is perceived as sexual. You know, I mean, a really ridiculous example is, I mean, you know, guys, have you ever been kind and literally just kind to a woman? Maybe held the door, maybe whatever, and there wasn't an ounce of intention of being flirtatious, and your girl perceived you as flirting. Or, I mean, give me a break. No, you know, you have a lot of insecure women. You have a rape culture, and just pay attention to how the rape culture is moving about. Again, it's modern day Mccarthyism. You know, McCarthy, you know, I think in the 50s and 60s, you know, going around when you wanted to get rid of somebody in the 50s and 60s. What did you call them? You called them a communist. That's where we got the, there's just, we have to look at history. We have to look at how, history repeats itself. And it doesn't ever come in the same form. I mean, there's not going to be another Joseph McCarthy coming around talking about communists, but there might be. Americans are that dumb. We don't like learning from history. Americans we're a great country, but we're not a smart country. We're not the beacons of intellect and culture like we think we are. America is a wonderful country, and we're a beautiful country, but we're not a smart country, and we don't learn from our lessons. And look at the bank bailout forum. And I mean, I can riff for 10 minutes. I won't, but I could easily, for how bank regulations are taking us back to another financial Armageddon. And I mean that word intentionally, with not exaggeration. Once upon a time, there was literally a one-page document that was $700 billion to bail out the banks. And we barely covered that shit. And the next one that's going to happen is going to be seismic. And it could destabilize literally the fabric of our country. But I could bring 10 years of in the trenches. I could talk about banks and Flagstar and RESPA, and I could talk about I was literally in the trenches whenever the first ones happened, and I kind of saw the sparrow, and I literally heard the canary. I remember where I was in Austin, Texas, 401 Congress, and I remember what I was doing whenever the first financial crisis canary song was sung. And you know what? About a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, boom, we had this huge seismic thing. Well, I could bring all 10 years of in the trenches, and nobody would really listen, because we don't listen to our prophets. We don't listen to the people of, we want to hear our own opinions back to us in a kind and sweet way. And Mccarthyism exists. It's in the rape culture. Just look at the civil system. In the state of Texas, a woman can accuse a man of anything, and it is considered true until proven wrong. And even when it's proven wrong, it's still true. I know. In fact, I'm going to work on a documentary of much like Jasper, Texas. Like, holy shit, go to Jasper, Texas. Go to Ferguson. Look at Gardner. The prophets are crying out, niggas. The prophets are screaming. We're just not listening. All right, I'm done. Bible study tomorrow, 1 John. Talk about the divine law. I don't know, dude. Remind me if I ever come talk to your organization, say, bring your cigar box. I'm like, well, I got it, dude. And in that cigar box, I'd love to come bring it to you. It's decorated by my beautiful daughter. K-Bug, I love you so much. J-Bug, I love you so much. Think about you every day. J-Bug, K-Bug, man, I love you guys so much. Muleshoe, I forgive you. I'm so glad I live in a country with First Amendment. So glad I live in a country with the First Amendment. I used to live in a country with, the federally protected statuses. Again, these are things that are so important that nobody's talking about. We want to talk about TMZ and Kardashians, and I understand that. I get it. We want to, the next Trump, the next Hillary, and we want to. The things that are really important, like 9/11. Let me tell you my 9/11 story. I got a lot of 9/11 stories, but we share a 9/11 story, you and I, the literal 9/11. And about 3 weeks before 9/11, I was actually in New York City. It was my first time in New York City, and it was a kind of a really interesting blessing. We had a kind of a tour guide, and that tour guide literally took me up into the World Trade Center, being from Oklahoma and coming or traveling from Abilene, Texas. I really did not know. I really did not know. You know, what the World Trade Center were, and, you know, how tall they were. But before I knew it, I was in Windows of the World, and I ordered a drink. And my ex-wife, my now ex-wife, my then wife, you know, we were dancing. I was going to start a medical distribution company. I was there on business. I think we were meeting a person from France. We were going to do like medical supply distribution across. I was 21, 23, 24, early 20s. I was here in New York City, and on Windows of the World, and I kept my receipt. And I'd love to show you that receipt. You're like, what's your point? The point is, you know, nobody knew what the next 2-3 weeks were going to bring. And those towers came down, but before that happened, either that day or the day before, I remember a black man, a black prophet, and he was screaming out like preachers do. And you know, at the base of 9/11, right by the Times Square, basically. So this black prophet, and he was screaming out. You know, of course, I was there on vacay, and I was white, and any street preacher I don't want to listen to. But you know, looking back, if I could go back to that story, I would take more pictures. Obviously, I took a few, but I would take more. And I would also I would listen to what that prophet was saying. And I would say, listen, you know, I wonder if he knew in his spirit something. And then boom, 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 boom. Anyway, that's a 9/11 story. And then came back to Abilene, and then my business, because the travel and the different countries, it was definitely hard to. So my new business that I thought was going to launch completely, just the idea of starting an international anything after 9/11, even a distribution company, was completely out the window. And so then I had my first 9/11, or a second, or I don't know. I've had several, and then boom. And then I think I sold insurance for like a week. Then I started a mortgage company. So there's a little bit of Fibonojji story, Muleshoe, and then how, you know, if there's anything that I think the old black Mama Lucia, my Angelos, will teach us. They'll teach us to listen, slow down and listen. And we need to start looking at some real issues and real questions. And those things we often think are irrelevant. Maybe people who emphasize them, we kind of like to judge those people. And that's one of the ways that resistance and evil fights light. Remember, there is a battle. There is a battle. I know. It's not good news. Enjoy your day. John 10:10. There's a battle. And then there's a story about the Bible. It has all kinds of messages. And some of those messages are good. Some of them scare the fuck out of you. Some of them are sad. Some of them are, confusing. And some of them are, I think, on some level, they're incomprehensible. But God, in His greatness and in His goodness, has given us the Bible with all of its complexities and all of its things and all of its hues and colors, and very few people get to the end of their life and say, the Bible's not true. Very few people. And sometimes, if you're like me, when you struggle with the complexities and the mysteries and the delays and the 40 years in deserts and famines and Joseph's thrown in and what the fuck does all that mean? Sometimes you just got to go to what you do know, and that is simply, God is good, the Bible is true. At the very least, we can sing the Psalms together.